Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 135th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of a Brotherhood member, Legion 22, who's bought the Rome Julio faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Carthage faction there. So there's our team, full of experienced RTW players. I think Steve's been playing RTW for at least 9 years, and I think Legion 22 has been playing for some time too. But you wait till you see the other team. This could be a great game for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at this very old Carthage army. As you know, sometimes I like to bring an old army, like kind of resurrect an old army from the past and bring it to the modern battlefield. As you can see here, I've got 15 units of Sacred Band pikemen. As you know, they're quite tough, the Sacred Band pikemen, and if you put good upgrades on them, that can make them extremely tough and a very formidable force there. And then of course I've got my Balearic slingers, and these guys have got quite a long range for slingers and can do quite reasonable damage as well. So that's my Carthage army there. If you notice, I've got no cavalry in this army. This army was built solely to take on Greek cities, so that's what it was bred for, to take on the Greek cities, and that formation is very thick as well. Should be an interesting game to watch. And here is the other team. We have Greeks clansman Leonidas, who has bought the Greek cities faction there. And then we have TNG Odin. As you might know now know that Odin is in the Titans clan, but when he fought this battle, he was in TNG clan, and he has bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then their final teammate is RTW player Hannibal Barker, who has bought the Seleucid faction. So I thought at this stage of the battle we'd have a look at the Seleucid army that Hannibal Barker has bought. You can see he got two Silver Shield Legionnaires in front of his main battle line. And then he has got his Silver Shield pikemen here. As you know, the Silver Shield, Seleucid Silver Shield pikemen have got very long pikes, and as I said before, it's very difficult to fight down those pikes to kill the men on the other end. So Seleucid's quite a good pike faction there. Then you can see that he's bought 3 archers, and then the infamous cataphract tank cavalry. We kind of call them the tanks of the ancient world. I think I've mentioned this before in other battle videos of mine. They're extremely well armoured. If you look at the upgrades on these cavalry, you'll see that they are fully upgraded cavalry, 9 banners on them. So these cataphract cavalry are not to be messed with and could be battle turning troops. Fully upgraded cataphracts. Whoa, that would be a force to watch there. So that's a pretty good Seleucid army there that Hannibal Barker has bought. Then I thought we'd have a look at Greek Leonidas' Spartan army here. Now, Greek Leonidas is a real RTW veteran and has been in the Greeks, I think, right from the beginning of the Greeks clan started, so he's very good. As you might know, the Greeks clan mission on RTW was to be the best clan with pike factions. And after hours and hours and hours of practice, I think most people would agree that the Greeks have become the best clan with pike. With the pike factions. And when you see a Greek clansman with Leonidas' experience bringing Greek cities and those Spartans with the 2 hit points, then you know you're in for a challenge. If you notice here, unusually he's bought I think it's Rhodian slingers rather than archers there, or is it Balearic slingers? So there you go, there's Greek Leonidas' army. It looks pretty formidable to me. Here at the very early stage of the battle, you can see that I was on the left flank, and I'm taking my Carthage army over to the right flank to engage the Greek cities army. If you notice here, my ally Julii army there is facing the enemy Brutii army there. But if you notice that the Greek cities are right on our right flank there, so I'm going to try and run my army through to actually, if you like, confront the Greek cities army there. Let's say there's a kind of a bit of an overview of exactly what's happening so far. You can see the enemy have got their cavalry, Brutii cavalry, out to our right here. Meanwhile, back over on our left, you can see that Steve is going up against the Seleucid guys there. If you notice, the Seleucid tank cavalry have been harassing his infantry there. Remember what we always say, get the cavalry charge bonus and then hit back out. That's what they've been doing. And so Steve's brought his infantry over, knowing that maybe his cavalry might not be able to handle the Seleucid cataphracts on their own. He's brought infantry over to help his cavalry for if the Seleucid cataphracts attack again. As you can see there, Hannibal Barca's bringing his pikemen in there, maybe with a view to try and cut Steve off from his allies there. I'm not sure there, but as you can see, the pikemen are getting in between Steve and us there. So that might be the strategy there. Meanwhile, over on our right here, you can see that I've ran my Carthage army right over there to the right flank. All my infantry are winded at the moment, where I think Leonidas' infantry would be fresh. So I'm just hoping he doesn't attack at this time, just to give my pikemen chance to get their breath back, if you like. Odin is quite an aggressive player here, so it wouldn't surprise me if he attacked Legion here. Now if you notice that the Seleucid pikemen are running down now towards us. You see the Seleucid pikemen and their other infantry, the legionnaires, are running down towards us now. Steve's still facing the Seleucid tank cavalry up that end, so his infantry and cavalry are kind of engaging the cavalry up there, whereas the Seleucid infantry are moving towards us. But bearing in mind that Seleucid cavalry was fully upgraded, and Steve would be aware of that, that's why he's got his infantry there. Right, over here you can see that our allies charging in with his Julii cavalry, and the enemy are charging with their Brutii cavalry, and bang, as that cavalry hits. You can see the impact of both those cavalries going in there. Now, if you notice that Leonidas is now moving over his Greek city's army there to support his ally. If you notice, I'm moving my Carthage army over now. And I'm now going to start trying to attack that Carthage army and the enemy Brutii army from that right flank. If you like, try and roll them up from right to left. Just pause the game here for us to take stock of the situation at the moment. Here's the situation. You can see that our allies Julii infantry are under a lot of pressure there. You can see the Seleucid infantry, pikemen and legionnaires running in on our left flank there. You can see that the slingers here, the Balearic slingers, are throwing loads of slingshots into Legion's, probably into his cavalry there, trying to cause as many casualties as they can there. And right over on our far left flank, you can see that Steve, all of Steve's infantry and his cavalry, he's using to confront the fully maxed out Seleucid cavalry there. So as you can see, there's a bit of infighting there, as they're fighting the inner shots there of them fighting. But I think Steve feels that he needs his infantry over there because he knows that cataphract cavalry was fully upgraded and that his own cavalry probably wouldn't be able to deal with them on their own. So that's why he's taking his infantry over there. But if you notice here now on our right flank, we are really hard pressed to hold now. Let's see what happens next. You can see the Brutii cavalry charging in here into Legion's infantry line there. And if you notice, the Seleucid infantry are nearly down on us right now. I'm moving my Carthage army forward here on the right flank, attacking the Greek city's flank and the enemy Brutii infantry's flank there as well. Pushing forward, but as I said before, when you use pike factions, they remind me of steamrollers, extremely slow to move forward, but they can actually kind of roll over everything in front of them. So that's what I'm trying to do, just attacking as much as I can here on the right flank to try and take a bit of pressure off of Legion. Right, if you can see that a lot of Legion's units now are routing on the left flank with the arrival of the Seleucid infantry. Okay, you can see a lot of his units routing there. It wouldn't surprise me. And also the Brutii cavalry charging into the back of Legion's infantry, causing a lot of his units to rout. I think his general's just routed there. So as you know from other battle videos, when his general routed, the morale of his troops would drop. Right, just going to pause the game here for us to take stock of the situation. As you see, the Seleucid infantry have now really arrived and have caused Legion's infantry to rout there. A heck of a lot of Legion's infantry have now gone. So we've got the Seleucid infantry, we've got the enemy Brutii infantry, and all basically the Greek cities infantry here now on our right. So the situation is not looking very good for the Brotherhood team at the moment. As I say, those Seleucid long pikes and infantry have come in behind us, and also we're fighting the Greeks and Rome Brutii as well. Meanwhile, Steve's over here with all his infantry and cavalry still taking on the Seleucid tank cavalry there. I think Hannibal Barca's done a good job of pulling Steve away from us there. That was a good tactic by Hannibal Barca. He's kind of like pulled Steve away with his attacks with his cataphract cavalry, and then allowing his own infantry to come in over here now. Right, you see the Seleucid cavalry's got in behind us now. So I've got, I think it's 3 or 4 units there that I've stood back in anticipation that they may well be needed for this. And I'm going to move those units over now to cover the back of my engaged Carthage pikemen, who are now taking on, as I say, the Greek cities, the enemy Brutii infantry, and as I said, those Seleucid infantry coming in behind us. If you notice, can you see the red Julii cavalry coming in for a charge into the back of the Greek cities? That's Legion's cavalry. You see the impact as they go in there, and bang, as that cavalry hits, causing a lot of casualties in the rear of the enemy lines there. Really nice hit there by Legion 22's cavalry. Really nice hit there. Real big impact. Right, we've just seen the enemy Brutii general has just been killed. So as I said earlier, and in other battle videos, all his infantry's morale will start to drop now. But I can't say too much about how good that Legion's cavalry charge into the back of the enemy was there. It was almost like they weren't expecting it, they didn't see it coming, and bang, it really hit home there. But if you notice, the Seleucid infantry now have got in behind us. I've put units over there to try and block them coming in behind my engaged infantry there. If you notice, my general's turned with his back towards his engaged infantry, facing outwards to try and protect them as well. So as it stands at the moment, you can see that our allies' last of his infantry, Julii infantry, is starting to rout. If you notice, some of my own Carthage sacred band units are routed. Can you see all these Greek city slingers throwing hundreds of slingshots into the rear of my engaged Carthage sacred band? So my guys are taking a hell of a pounding from the front and the rear as well. If you notice there, Leonidas has moved his Greek cities armies back, I presume to rally them, get them in formation again, ready to attack again. If you notice, the Seleucids are still pressing on towards my my infantry, but the units I've put out to fight them seem to have done very well. If you notice now, Steve is now returning with his infantry and cavalry down to our right flank. I say my Carthage sacred band's not doing too bad against the forces that were ranged against them. But I don't think they hold for very much longer, and I'm glad to see Steve's relieving infantry has moved down. You see, the enemy have still got a reasonable amount of cavalry left. If you see how long those Seleucid pikes are in comparison to my Carthage sacred band pikes, you can see how difficult it is for my sacred band guys to kind of fight their way down those pikes to kill the Seleucid troops on the other end. There you see the Greek cities are now fully engaged with my Carthage sacred band. But if you notice, Steve's got infantry in behind the Greek cities now. He's just waiting for the right moment to charge in by the looks of it. And here comes a cavalry hit once again by Legion's Julii cavalry, and even in their battle damage, look at the impact. Bang! bang, straight into the back of those Greek cities forces there, and making those guys rout. So that's a nice little use of cavalry there by Legion 22. New players watching this, you know, that was really good. Notice the tactic: charge, hit the with the impact, bang into the enemy. Don't stay very long. Pull back out. Just get your full cavalry charge bonus. Get back out, rally, ride around the battlefield looking for other targets that you might be able to hit.
These men are perfect. They are running from the battle in terror.
As you can see, there's still some enemy cavalry roaming the battlefield. But as for the infantry, now I think we've managed to we've managed to take most of the enemy infantry out now, I think. And there you go. Can you see the Seleucid general and one of his cavalry units now are engaging Legion 22's cavalry, and also some of Steve's Scipio infantry as well there. And there goes the general. The Seleucid general, I think, has just been taken out there. So that's probably one of the final of the last units is now gone. But I'd just like to show you how intense the fighting was on the battlefield here. Can you see the amount of dead from one end of the battlefield to the other? It just goes to show how intense this battlefield was, especially on this right flank here. It's absolutely packed with dead. You can see the intensity of the battle here. Loads and loads of dead in this kind of one place here, where it was really, really a pitched battle. So it just goes to show the intensity of that battle, and how close it was there. But I think the last of the enemy troops now have been taken out. First thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the team there, and my team, and everybody played on the enemy team as well. There were some great movements, some really nice tactical moves, and some really good cavalry hits, and really good support by the enemy team. So well done, guys. And really well done to Legion 22 and Steve Longshanks. I thought they played extremely well. Just have a look at the statistics of my my army there. If you notice, some of my Sacred Band did quite well, but if you look down at the bottom of the list, can you see my Balearic Slingers? Can you see the kills that they got? I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it, really? That's, you know, maybe Slingers are a bit underestimated, but if you look at the kills they got there, it just goes to show how good they can be. So that's not too bad statistics there. As I say, really well done to the other team. Lots of good play there, and as I say, really well done to our team too. I thought Hannibal Barker's tactic of trying to draw Steve away was a really nice tactic there with his cavalry. So once again, really well played to everybody in game. Spartan Commander saying bye for now.